You've been a witness of numerous ecstasies, isn't that so? Can you say approximately how many ecstasies you've seen?
More than 200.
And certainly during these ecstasies, you've seen the extraordinary things. Cases of levitation?
2 levitations, at least 2. One happened to Conchita and the other to the 4 girls. To one of the 4 girls. They were walking together, and one girl took the arm of one of the others near the church. They went over a footbridge that was there then, now it's gone. No more than 3 would fit on the footbridge, so the 4th girl had to be outside of the footbridge. She would have fallen, but the 4 were carried along at the same height. The girl who was not on the footbridge did not fall below the others. She had to walk upon the air. This is one of the levitations.
And there was water in the creek.
Yes, there was water, yes. Yes, because below that footbridge water flowed. Water from the town that is not there anymore because now there is a pipeline. But then there was no pipeline.
That's progress taking place in Garabandal.
Yes.
Then there was another levitation?
The other levitation happened to Conchita in her home, in her kitchen. She was in ecstasy. She was on the floor, head facing towards the kitchen and her feet towards the entrance of the kitchen with her arms like this, but lying on the ground. She was levitating in the air for a minute and a half, close to 2 minutes, rising from the ground little by little. She rose up this distance from the ground, and then she began to move like this. From prow to stern, but in this sense, like a hill slope. She was like a hill slope in the sense that she was not above the ground and she was not seated, but she was levitating, because if not, she would not have moved this way, like a hill slope, 3 times, some 3 times. Little by little, she began to descend. The first to see it was Dr. Ortiz, who was near the hearth in the kitchen, here on the right in relation to you and me. I was standing up like this. Other people and the mother were there. The mother was here, and the other people there, watching. Dr. Ortiz was the first to notice that the child was levitating, and the rest of us noticed afterwards. But she levitated like this, little by little, during a minute and a half, or 2 minutes.
Extraordinary things abound at Garabandal. You've been a witness in particular of numerous marches or ecstatic races. Especially, you told me, that when the children descended past from the pines,
the 4 girls were leaning backwards and their heads tilted back like always. And they were running at night, and it looked like they were flying. They went over the rocks, but it looked like they were flying because the backwards descent of 4 children in ecstasy at great speed without falling is a sign that is not usually explained naturally. That had something to do with the supernatural element. No one is able to do that. Those same children are not able to do it when they are not in ecstasy.
Perhaps now you can tell me in a few words about the day the children waited for you. You're coming down the trail. You can explain the sign the Virgin was looking at you.
Yes, during the night I saw them. I stayed behind and I was the last one in the pines. The four girls descended backwards very slowly while praying the rosary. I was the last to descend, as it was so difficult to do so because there was the danger of falling and breaking one's head or arm. I went down slowly. After a little while, the children separated. I was far behind the girls when they came towards me. When I reached them, they would continue walking again. This happened 3 times. The 3 times they came towards me, I did not realize the reason until I saw the doctor kiss the crucifix in imitation of the children. And that was when I realized what the children wanted me to do when they came near me. Then I kissed the crucifix, and they turned around and left me.
They waited for you to rejoin them. Were they waiting for you?
I was waiting the 3 times the girls came towards me without knowing what to do. I did not know anything, and the girls could not have known either.
Could you explain how you closed the doors of the church for the children for the first time?
It was in the first 3 days, the 3 days I was there for the first time. It was the 23rd, the day after I had heard the news from the commission. I was in the church. I had received the news from the bishop through the priest, Father Valentin. He was giving news to the bishop at the commission in Santander. They had left me as the pastor while Father Valentin was away in Santander. Father Andreu had received a notification that we should close the doors of the church when the children were in ecstasy. I was inside the church and we were praying the rosary, and afterwards I stayed inside the church so that I could be ready when the children went into ecstasy and wanted to enter the church. I could close the doors just as the commission had instructed. Those days I closed the doors after the girls had prayed the rosary, which usually happened in the portico of the church. I stayed praying the rosary in the church, and the children left. But in a moment, I realized that the girls were coming back because I heard voices and footsteps. Then I closed the door and left the church. I stayed between the stone gate that leads to the main entrance with my back to the church. The girl came and stood in front of me. No one knew that I was going to close the doors of the church because only the commission and 3 other people knew. Father Andreu, Father Valentin, and myself. The girls were in ecstasy, and a woman asked me, "Why did you close the doors of the church?" I responded, "Well, I am following an order." They told me to close the doors. It would be better for me if they were allowed to enter the church, but they told me to close it, so I closed it. Then the woman said to me, "Well, that's fine because you are fulfilling an assignment that was given to you." After that, the children said, "If you do not open the doors for us, we will not ever enter the church again." From that time on, the children did not enter the church, at least to my knowledge. One day, Conchita was in ecstasy, and the priest was at the pulpit, from which he led the rosary every afternoon. He was sweating because he thought the girl was going to enter the church. And if the bishop knew that he had allowed the girl to enter the church while in ecstasy, no one knew what would happen. His sweat was like a river, a small river. The child stayed in the door of the church and responded to the litany, which was being recited after the rosary. Holy Mary, pray for us. And the child responded, pray for us. That is how the litany is prayed now. But at that time, the litany was in Latin. She answered the litany for a little while, and then she turned around and left without entering the church. The priest was very happy with this because he had narrowly missed a large predicament.
We can stop now and then go up the trail, see the place of the quadrille, the place where the first apparition took place. To view the difficult trailway, children descended in ecstasy backwards. Now we'll go up there.
On va monter jusque là-bas.